These are true facts about the biotechnician. A biotechnician conducts lab work on living things such as bacteria, cells, and other microorganisms. The biotechnician also works with some dangerous chemicals, which is why PPE must be worn. Now, contrary to popular belief, PPE does not stand for Personal Penguin Extractor. It actually stands for Personal Protective Equipment. PPE varies depending on what the experiment is. However, it usually consists of lab coat, gloves, and safety goggles. One of the many experiments conducted in biotech is performing gel electrophoresis. Gel electrophoresis is the process of loading a gel with DNA samples and sending an electric current through the gel, which forces the DNA to separate into bands, which just pretty much means stealing DNA, frying out of it until it separates into tiny pieces. It's quite brutal. Another experiment would be swabbing a petri dish. In this experiment, you simply use a cotton swab to gather bacteria from any surface, such as a dirty toilet seat, the gym floor, a countertop, or your father's dirty underwear. The biotechnician would then use the same cotton swab and rub it against the inside of the petri dish, which would then be incubated so that the disgusting, filthy bacteria from your father's underwear can grow up to be big and strong. One of the more annoying things to do in biotechnology is a serial dilution. To perform serial dilution, you must take a solution and then add a smaller amount of that solution to a different tube. You would then add a higher concentration of water to that tube so that it matches the volume of the original solution. You would then repeat this process over and over again, adding more water and less of the solution each time. Imagine doing something once. Now imagine doing that same thing over and over and over, and then over again for what feels like 7 weeks. This is how a biotechnician do. Microbiology is another interesting career that the biotechnician can pursue. They get to work with all kinds of microorganisms like bacteria, cells, protists, and viruses. The biotechnician gets to use all kinds of different equipment such as microscopes, pipettes, and centrifuge, my apologies. Biotechnicians can go on into many interesting careers. One of them is a career in the pharmaceutical industry. Here you would become familiar with a variety of drugs. It's kind of like being a less cool version of Walter White. For those of you who do not know Walter White, I need you to go home and immediately watch television. So remember, if you pick biotechnology as a shop, be prepared to become a huge nerd, and to become part of a scientific field that is always expanding and making a huge impact on the world. This has been Morgan Freeman.